Welcome back, friends and family. Today we have a Japanese lowrider magazine from, I believe, January 1995. So it's the winter edition of 94, I guess. It's Lowrider Japan number 6. It's a very early issue. I still miss a couple of the early Japanese magazines, but I try to get them. If you hold any, let me know. So to get this started, I'm very excited because it features the 1994 Los Angeles Super Show, where the battle between Loco 64 and the Las Vegas Lowrider went down, and the 1994 Tokyo Super Show, which I think also featured awesome cars and has a lot of lowrider history. So let's get this started. I just love 90s lowridering, man. Okay. And as before, I mentioned that in other videos, I always tried to calculate with the inflation calculator from Google how much that stuff was kind of worth, or the cars they sold, because those things are thick and they're filled with car classifieds, advertising, and all that stuff. And I don't know, like, I bet you heard those crazy stories where like Japanese people went to the Pomona swap meet with bags, like backpacks full of cash, and they just bought every car left and right. There were a couple of brokers back then where Japanese people reached out so they could buy cars they've seen in magazines. And Conrad Garcia had his business going on, and all those guys. Recently, I talked to someone whose father, around this time, I think in 95 or 96, sold his 63 Chevy Impala with Dayton's, hydraulics, everything, very clean car, to a Japanese guy for $12,000. So if you do the inflation calculation thing, it spits out something like 26,000 or whatever, and then you say now in 2020, man, that's a steal. But then I heard from other guys on Lay Low that hell, that was a lot of money. So if you sold your car in the 90s for over 10 grand to someone in Japan, you were rolling. You really made money. And most of those guys then started like a shop or something like this. Of course, now they all regret it, but I don't know. So I don't know. I just thought it's interesting, so I shared with you guys. So here we start with the Tokyo Super Show, and I'm not really familiar with all those cars. It looks like, since it's a 4-door, I think it's a Honda Accord. I love the hot pink. I hope the camera like shows you guys what I see. It's like a hot pink with blue that fades in, and all those patterns. It looks pretty cool, and it reminds me one of my favorite cars from the 80s, 90s. If you guys know B&M, who used to, they started in the 50s with the Hydro Stick. They took the Oldsmobile and Cadillac Hydromatics and made them stronger for street, strip, and like drag use or whatever. And then they went into like mainly Chevy GM transmissions. And somewhere in the 80s they had a show car, which was either a 67 or a 68 Camaro. I think I more tend to a 68 Camaro, and it was painted in a hot pink with ghost stripes, and it was faded around the bottom, around the rockers, in blue. It had a ghost grill, and behind the grill there was a pink neon bow tie, and this thing was topped on the floor, and it was so cool. I love that thing. Sadly, I think the candy faded away, and now it looks a little bit different, but still a cool car, you know. And like, talking about 90s, I love that gold bladed stuff, you know. It's just so 90s. And that the cozy interior, just look at that. Man, I really hope that all comes back. Well, there we have a 36, beautiful car. Beautiful. Wow, and look at the choker colors. Beautiful. And that Riviera, beautiful car. That grille and those headlight covers are so cool. I have a 61 Chevy Impala and I really want to make me some headlight covers like this. So cool. Just think about it. Like, I think from what you read about the first lowrider in Japan and all that stuff, it started in the 80s, and like 10 years later they already have like so many cool cars. And just look at this thing. If you see that thing today at like a bump show, you're like, what the? It's really cool. All those pictures are pretty low light. There you have your Samurai. I mean this thing, not that thing. You have your bikes. So cool. Wow. Wow. So usually I would say I don't like fender skirts on a 65, 66 Chevy Impala or Caprice, but this thing just looks so cool. The paint, the gold leaf, the stripes, everything. It has a T-top. It looks so cool. What a cool car. Wow. I hope this is still around. Really nice car. Really looks cool with the fender skirts. And there you have your bikini contest. I don't know if you want to see, probably you want to see that, but I really don't really care that much about that stuff. I just want to see cars. It's all about cars. There you have some hoppers. There's like a Toyota Hilux, I don't know. Oh yeah, this is the one flaw about those Japanese magazines. They have all those little pictures. So I'm just gonna go through slowly so maybe you can see something you like. Yeah, this, I think that was the first real lowrider they had. And this thing is still around and it still looks like this. And I think it's so nice. I think the parking lights are now blue, but besides that it looks pretty the same. Wow, this thing looks awesome. That is a 59 Cadillac. When was the last time you've seen a 59 Cadillac as a lowrider with paint like this? And I'm not talking about that Australian one that has like this purple fadeaway and those flames. I mean, that thing is also like kind of wild and yeah, like kind of lowrider, but like this lowrider style on a Cadillac is pretty cool. And there also was a 59 Buick like that. This is cool. Nice mini truck. I don't know if you want to see all those things. There we have the Lowriders Japan selection. Wow. As always, I love my cut bumpers. Wow. Nice setup. I don't really know about Donald Trump. Donald Trump. No, not Donald Trump. Oh no, now everybody's gonna hate me. Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse. Wow. This almost looks like a Southside car. Almost, you know, but I don't really know if it was one or not. I sadly and sorry guys, I don't know so much about everything. Nice 63. Nice 69. Well, see, he got all the chicks because he has that rag top. He's like very popular. Teen Angels. I don't know what it is. I just remember as a kid, the first time I saw a Japanese lowrider a Japanese lowrider was in the American Lowrider magazine, and it was a Nissan 300ZX, whatever it is, and it was that the pearl white and everything was gold, like this thing, and there's just something so appealing to those cars like this. Looks nice. There we have another mini truck. There we have more cars for sale. See, 2 million. That's not too much. Nowadays that would be like around like 20 grand or whatever. But back then that must have been crazy. Wow, don't you miss all those? Like just that style and everything. That have been Davises, the Dickies. Cool. So we have so much glare today. Those mold kits are cool. Okay, let's try get this done as quick as possible so I don't waste too much time. It's just crazy to see that scene back then, you know, like I really love Japan. Sadly I never went there. And now with the COVID, I think, I don't know how quick I can go there, so who knows, but like the 90s are so cool, Japan are so cool, is so cool. I love Japanese horror movies out of the 90s or like early 2000s. There's just something to it which is so cool. So cool. Soundhead. More cars. Maybe the next video I do, I kind of mix it up. I also have old Japanese car magazines just full with skylines and stuff. So maybe you wanna see that. It's like a little like. Is that Punch 84? No. Yes? I have no idea. See, I don't really know that much about cars or the culture. But I think it's Punch 84. Man, this thing is still around. Crazy. So for some reason I think that this has the better coverage than the American Lowrider magazine. There we have the Michael Jackson car, which is still around and looks awesome. Just pretty car. And there we have it. There we have Joe Ray's Lowrider of the Year 94 with the third version, or maybe even the fourth version of this car. And there it is, the Las Vegas Lowrider. Before it was the Hollywood Lowrider, and before that it was the Dress to Kill or whatever. I also have that magazine on here somewhere, just recently. Check it out. I loved that paint as a kid. I loved that. And then I saw in the Lowrider Bicycle magazine someone built that as a model kit, and I was just blown away. And then as a kid I went to a car show. No, it was at the Peterson, I think, and it just blew my mind. I was like, wow. I did not know that Twilight Zone was still around back then, because I have it featured in a magazine from 89 or whatever, and I thought then after that it kind of disappeared. But beautiful car. I listened to the podcast and it's so interesting how, like, he trusted his painter, but then he thought he didn't really trust his painter, and he was surprised in a positive way, I guess. And it really set itself apart from all the other cars. They didn't show Loco 64. I didn't even go through those cars. Sorry guys. Maybe I forgot there's LA Woman. Yeah, weird that they don't show Loco 64. Crazy. There's also footage on YouTube here. A couple of videos. I think at least like 10 videos where you can see from back then. There's the Lowrider magazine VHS. Then there's someone like a really long video about Lifestyle Car Club, and you see lots of that show that year. Maybe you want to check that out after that here. Just Google it, LA Super Show or Lifestyle Car Club. Okay, there we are back in Japan. We have a beautiful Cadillac. Man, it seemed to be such a nicer and more innocent time back in the 90s. So watch this cool. Oops, sorry. Crazy that Mercedes with that different top on, the W116. Crazy. So I think we are through some Lowrider bicycles, some Hondas. Wow, that Riviera is cool. I think that the Crown was cool too. How 90s is this thing? Just classic. Clean and cool. So cool. Mariachi. Some coolers. There you have your accessories. Wow. See, it started back then. I have Lowrider magazines from the 80s where they already sold those and they were already like repops and not the real things. Okay, it's 20 minutes. Thanks for sticking around. Lowrider magazine, Japanese Lowrider magazine, 1994 I guess, but it came out I think in 95. So glad you made it through, and if you like, subscribe, leave me a comment, and I try to make everybody happy and feature the stuff that you suggest if I have it, if I find it. And if not, I try to mix it up, as I said in another video. And it's just like lowriders, hot rods, street rods, custom cars, maybe even some Japanese cars. And I don't know. Whatever. Have a nice day, and nice that you watch my videos. Goodbye.